Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Irish Zone. My name is Noel. I'm from Dublin, live, and we want to talk to you about Clonmel and the other stuff that's been going on around the country, including next week's uh, debate. Is a debate or whatever it is on the migration pact, which will more than likely go through. Now, I have put up a video from Tracy there with all the relevant links in the link description. Listen to the video first. Listen to everything that she says. And as I said, the links are down below. Start emailing, folks. It's very important. Or the face of this country is going to completely change, and there's no slowing down from Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. But first of all, I want to get on to Clonmel, because as you know, when was it? Week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, was it a week ago? I called for people to go and support the people of Clonmel. So I decided off my own back to rally the troops, basically, to go down and peacefully, I want to make that clear, peacefully support the locals of Clonmel. For the simple fact is that Clonmel is 17,000 odd people in it. And from the video footage that we've all seen, unfortunately, there's not 17,000 people down in Clonmel supporting the locals that are there. Now, we've seen this in Newtown, Mount Kennedy, right? And we've seen it in other places around the country, right? And I've gotten to the point, like everybody else, that we're seeing history repeating itself time and time again in these places. The reason why I decided to call the gathering or the rally, whatever you want to call it, we're not marching, we're just going straight to the site, just to show solidarity with those people of Clonmel that have been there from the very beginning. Now, why do I say all of this? Because my character has been attacked. There has been insinuations made by someone on TikTok, I think, who's from Clonmel, who's not happy with me because I set up this whole thing. Apparently, as an Irishman, I need permission before I organise something in my country, when I have seen this whole thing play out time and time again in places, like I said, Newtown, Mount Kennedy. Right? Now, I have never been arrested part of these protests. I've never gotten involved in any violence in these protests. You will actually see that there are very few videos of me in them, because that's not what I'm about. It's not what I'm about. Right? My whole thing, I have no other motive. Right? And I do believe that the recent incident, not the accident, but the recent incident involving the young lad, was premeditated. Right? He wasn't from Clonmel, was he? No. Right? So there are outside forces, right, that are definitely trying to incite violence. Now, I've been saying this on this channel since last year, by the way. Right? Not on this channel, on X, because obviously, you know, we only started doing our stuff on YouTube about 2 months ago. But on X, I've been saying that there are people deliberately trying to raise tensions in this country so an incident happens. My whole thing and my whole belief is that we cannot allow that to happen. So when I organised this thing for Clonmel, my only intention is to help the people in Clonmel. And it's the first time I've ever done anything, I don't know what the protocol was. I didn't know that as an Irishman, I needed to get permission to call people to support around the country to support the people of Clonmel. See, I'm going to say something and be blunt here, right? Irish movements have failed in the past, right? Before we got to the point where we actually won. But they failed in the past because there was too much distrust. There was outside forces working against us, right? And people not accepting help from around the country. Now, do you think Michael Collins and all of those lads needed to get permission to go around the country to rally the Irish people against British rule? No, they wouldn't have to ask for permission. And this is the problem that we've seen, and I've spoke about this on this channel before, right? The reason why movements in this country fail is because people are just so wrapped up in what they're doing, they don't realize that there are genuine people out there trying to help you. I have no other intentions other than trying to help people. It's all I've ever done. Right, but to claim that I'm using your quoted words, and I actually have the video, and I'm going to play it to everybody, but I have covered your face because, to be honest with you, you know, I don't want any aggro, but I think people have to listen to what you have to say, because this is the problem that we have in this country. And I've been saying it since last year. People have to be more open to trusting people who they claim are outsiders, for starters, right? We're not outsiders. We're born on this land just like you guys are. I might be from Dublin, right? But this country is the land that I was born on. Now, if I was to go on holiday to Clonmel, I wouldn't have to ask the people of Clonmel permission to holiday down in Clonmel, right? So this whole thing and this thing of I need permission, right? I don't get it when we're all supposed to be fighting the same fight here, which is to stop Clonmel becoming Newtown Mount Kennedy. Isn't that what the most important is? And from what I've seen from Clonmel, to be quite honest with you, is that there are a few years out there that are brave enough to show you our faces and fight, right? And stand there and protest. And when I mean fight, I don't mean actually physical or anything like that or cause the stuff, but fighting is standing there, showing your presence there and not backing down, right? But there's as I said, there's a population of how many people in Clonmel? What did I say? 14, 17,000? There's not 14, 17,000 people outside that site. And if we don't get more people to support you guys that are already there, well, then you're going to end up like Newtown Mount Kennedy. And then what will happen is then, and I've predicted this, a national protest will be called, but it'll be too late. It'll be too late. So this is why I decided I wasn't waiting on any nationalists that normally call the protests to call a protest, because urgent action and urgent support for Clonmel is needed. Thornton Hall is the same, right? Blessington looks like it's the same. There's a few places in Drogheda, right? There's many communities out there that are suffering, right? But to question my character and to insinuate that I'm using Clonmel is the most funniest thing that I actually heard, but I find it quite insulting. Because before anything happened in Clonmel, where was I? I was in Dublin with everybody else. I was in places like Newtown Mount Kennedy, right? Okay, now I've been heavily involved, right? I was at the Kulak Says No protests, right? I was at the Call to Peace that Gavin Pepper called. Only a handful of us turned up. We lit candles, the whole lot. I remember going to a Dublin protest where only 54 of us turned up. 54. Right? I was at the big rally in Dublin, the one before they had the latest one. Right? And then when they had their latest one, then I was in Newtown Mount Kennedy supporting the locals. Supporting the locals. And it was a great day. There was music. We were marched down to the site. There was music. It was a friendly atmosphere. We heard the heartbreaking story of a mother there whose child, well, I won't get into it, but you know the story, right? We heard all of that. We had people begging the Gardaí to stand with the people. They were smirking in their faces, right? I've seen people that at protests that I've known ended up the victims of Garda brutality. And all they've been doing is, like everybody else, peacefully protesting. And you need to, and as I said to people already, this far-right narrative is a load of bullshit, right? I'm not saying that there aren't people out there that are trying to agitate and trying to incite violence. I'm not that naive and not that stupid. You do it in other countries. I'm well versed on all of this, by the way. I've been doing this whole thing. I've been on YouTube 7 years, right? I've been at the water charges, marches, right? I'm a pro-lifer, right? I've been there and done that, right? But this is not the time to be measuring dicks, right? This is the time to be working together as a people because we're under threat. Right? I have no sinister intentions, none whatsoever. My only intention is, like a lot of people, when we see all of these heartbreaking things happening around the country, because it's happened here in Dublin. And I think a lot of people tend to forget that Dublin, Cork, the major cities were hit first. Right? So we've seen all of this. We've seen it all play out. Right? We've seen the same thing repeat itself in community after community. People not accepting help, people being suspicious of people. And by the way, I'm not saying you shouldn't be suspicious. Absolutely you should. Right? Absolutely you should. Because I've seen it myself. Listen, we've seen it. Well, I've alerted other nationalists. They're on the ball. Right? We've seen our protests and our marches being infiltrated by people. Right? So it'd be naive to assume that that's not happening at local level in communities all over the country. Of course it is, right? But there's genuine people like myself that have been there in Dublin, been there in Newtown Mount Kennedy, and seen what's to come. And trust me, Clonmel, what's to come you aren't prepared for. You aren't prepared for, right? Because we've seen it play out, and trust me, you ain't prepared, right? Newtown Mount Kennedy, look at it right now. Everybody seems to have gone quiet on Newtown Mount Kennedy. There are a few social media accounts that go down there. But again, I'm a bit dubious of them, because again, what are they actually doing? They're only going down there for content. Right? I don't go down there for content. Right? When I went down there to stand beside the people of Newtown Mount Kennedy. Justin Barrett and other nationalists were there, like Fergus Power, Eric English. We were all there. A group of us from Dublin went down that had been at the grassroots at the very start of the Dublin protests. I've done some videos for Fergus Power campaign videos. Listen, I don't need to give you my credentials, right? But I'm giving you them because you happen to insinuate that I'm using Clonmel fame. Yeah, Clonmel is in the news and it's famous right now. But soon enough, and this is the reality, when the next place comes along, nobody will give two flying fucks about Clonmel. And that's what I want to change. And this is why I called this. And as I said, this is the first time, right? Not on social welfare. I'm not working, right? I'm doing this all off my own back, right? I make my way around as much as I can. Even though my legs are screwed, I was down in Newtown Mount Kennedy, right? Was involved in an accident years ago and it's done me legs in. right? But I get around. I do what I have to do. And as I said, I've never gotten involved in any violence, or any of the people that I associate with have never gotten involved in violence, right? So that's where I stand. If that's not good enough, then there's nothing I could do about it. But I'm just going to say to people out there, this thing is still going ahead. I don't care. Um, the bottom line is that the people at Clonmel that were down there asked for help, right? So I'm going down there to show solidarity and stand beside my fellow man and woman of this island who want to make sure that their town, or the place, their home, isn't absolutely destroyed. Everybody knows where I stand, right? I'm a straight shooter, right? I have the same goal as most nationalists out there. I'm not going to say them all, but there's a core of us that do not want to see any more violence. Enough violence has happened. Enough Irish blood has been spilled in this country already over all of this, right? So the last thing I or anybody else wants is to give them back the initiative by doing something stupid. But I do believe that there are people from other counties already that have been down there that are trying to incite. And I would be telling you to be cautious of those people, right? We've seen it play out in Dublin here, and we've seen how the media reported on it was an absolute joke. Do you remember the incident? Right, I'll just give you as actually an example. Do you remember when Healy Ray came out with his young assistant? Right. Well, let me give you the actual context to that. So we were there and we had our march and we were shouting traitors out and stuff like that. Right. Now, before they moved us back to where they moved us back, we were actually a couple of feet away from, about 50 feet, maybe 100 feet away from the door. Not that much, right? So you could see it, right? Do you know what they did, right? That we were protesting there and they knew where we were, right? But they deliberately, all day, right? People were coming out of Dáil Éireann and walking through that crowd with Garda escort, right? Now, let me tell you why they did that. They wanted someone to actually lash out, right? So they were doing this all day, right? And nobody reacted. So Healy Ray decided that he was going to take another route, right? He didn't want to go down that way. He wanted to go right through the crowd. He didn't give a shit, right? And here's the funny thing about it. And the people in the nationalist movement have actually exposed these people, the ones that actually had the bit of a scuffle with Healy Ray, right? They were NGOs, right? So because they didn't get their way and RTE wouldn't get their story, right, of the so-called far right attacking politicians, one NGO took it into his own hands, and then what happened? It made the news, but he blamed, of course, all of us that were at the protest, right? That protest, yes, was the tensions high at it? Absolutely. Of course there was. There was a lot of anger at that time, but it never spilled over, right? People understood that one false move here and we undo everything that we've achieved. And we have achieved a lot, right? So I'm going to play this video. I mean, if people agree with it, that's fine, fair enough. But I just believe, and you have followed me on this channel, you know what I'm all about, right? You know I'm a straight shooter. You know that I'm not about, getting myself out there, right? I'm about helping people in this country. That's it, right? There are other channels, right, that are out there, and I'll say it out straight. There are other channels out there, right? YouTube channels out there that talk about all of this stuff and post up all the videos, but are never out on the streets. I've never seen one of them once out in the streets, right? But I am out in the streets. And I've been there from the early days, not at the very beginning. And I'll admit that I wasn't like a lot of people. It took me time to wake up, but I woke up, and I woke up fucking fast, right? And it was thanks to people, and I always give them credit for people like Fergus Power inspired me to get up off my arse and do something. And it's been an honour and a pleasure knowing that man, you know. And as I said, during the local election campaign, I put through a few videos together for him and stuff like that, you know. Supported a lot of the national candidates out there because it was important to try get as many of them in. But anyway, there's a public meeting in Clonmel on the 20th, and Kevin Sharkey apparently is going to be talking, and I think also, if I'm correct in saying, Matty McGrath is going to be there as well. And as far as I know, you know, there's been, again, people have been called to go to that meeting from all over the country. So I don't get why, you know, I'm getting grief for something that, again, and I'll just say it out, you know, I didn't know I had to get permission. And if I've rubbed people up the wrong way down in Clonmel, I will say this, I will apologise if I've rubbed you up the wrong way, but I'm doing what I believe is the right thing. I'm not doing this for personal glory or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? My face is not on camera. I don't give a shit. I'm not about getting my face on camera. I started off, when I started this off, I did do a few streams on camera, of course I did. But then I decided, sure, I don't want, it's not about me. So I'm going to play this video for you. You let me know what you think. But I was shocked. I'm going to be honest, because I thought we were all in the same fight. But people's attitude have to change, because if they don't, we're going to sink faster than the Titanic. And some believe that we've already sunk. I refuse to believe that we have lost this fight. Right? I refuse to believe that we've lost. I will not accept that the Irish people, this generation, us right now, have failed past generations of our people who gave their lives for this country. And I'm not saying that Irish people today should give their lives. As I said, we should try to do this as peacefully as possible, right? But I will tell you out straight, I've seen it in Dublin, I've seen it in Newtown Mount Kennedy. There are forces on the outside that are trying to derail everything that we're doing, because they fear, and be under no illusion, they do fear the so-called far right in this country, right? They do, right? They've made greater strides than a lot of people believed that was possible. Yes, the result is still not great, right? But heading into a general election, they're scared. They're scared, right? And they're using their tactics, right? And listen, anybody that's been fighting this fight, right? You just have to look at other countries like America, Canada, France, England. They're way ahead of us, right? Italy, right? But you see, the thing about it is, you know, people like myself have been looking at all this shit that's been going on in these other countries and looking at the tactics that the government and the left and the NGOs use, and they're using them here in this country. So as I said, I'm not saying don't be suspicious. It's always the right thing to be suspicious, right? But not everybody is out to get you, right? We're all fighting the same common cause here, right? I want to support the locals in Clonmel, right, as much as possible, right? And then, as I said, I'm going to try, and people said I'm mad for even trying this, by the way, but I'm going to try and get people to do the same in other communities, and I'll go to those other communities well across the country to support those locals. Also, to let people know that their vote is important, because we had a lower voter turnout, and we've got to convince people to vote. The only way that we win this is getting them out. And the shocking reality is this, and I just have to be honest with you: Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael are getting in the next government, whether it's Fianna Fáil led government or whether it's a Fine Gael led government. That's what's going to happen, right? So that's another 5 years from now. Do you think we can wait another 5 years from now? Can you imagine what this country will look like in 5 years from now? So this is why this is so close to my heart. I just want to support my fellow Irish man and woman, and I want to help them safeguard their communities, because I've seen the devastation already, and it's not pretty out there. It's not pretty out there. It's actually heartbreaking. If you walk through O'Connell Street now, you get past you start noticing them more when you get to the GPO, right? You turn off into Henry Street, right? And then you turn off into Moore Street up by the ILAC Centre. You won't recognise this city anymore, right? So you have seen nothing yet in Clonmel. And that's the reality of it. I've seen it. So what I would say to people is, just all over the country, not just in Clonmel, there are people that are willing to help you, that don't have sinister intentions. I don't have any personal glory or personal gain in this. Actually, my personal gain in this would be to safeguard the future of Irish people, and to respect the legacy and defend the legacy of the brave Irish men and women who gave their lives for our country so we could have the freedoms that we once had. Obviously, it's different now, but they gave us the platform. And as far as I'm concerned, if we let those people down, then we should be ashamed of ourselves. And I think anybody that doesn't vote, and this is how passionate I am about it, I actually think anybody that doesn't vote is doing a disservice to those people. You're literally throwing away something they died for. The right to vote, the right to change their own destiny. I just wish that the rest of the country was awake, because if it was, this would be so much easier. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And my whole goal with this was to try wake up. If people in Clonmel actually saw that the locals were being supported by other people, because this is what I believe what it is. I reckon the majority of people in Clonmel agree with the few that are there in Clonmel and have been there from day one. But the problem is there's fear, because the left and the NGOs have done a great job in this country of shaming people who stand up for their community, right? They shame people who are proud of their flag. They shame people for wanting to protect their communities and want to know who's going into them, right? And that's what we're fighting against. And the only way that we could fight against this is to peacefully show solidarity with those communities that need it. And right now I see that Clonmel needs help. And if people from Clonmel can see how many have turned out supporting the locals, well then maybe if we can encourage more people after they see that, If that has an effect and people start showing up at Clonmel, locals at Clonmel, more locals start showing up, then isn't that something to strive for? We've done something there. And that's all my goal is to help. You know, we're running out of time. And we are. And it's scary. But we've got to put fear to one side now. Right? Because ultimately, as I said, there's many factors of why revolutions in the past failed before we succeeded. We had external forces, we had internal forces, we had paranoia, mistrust, and we also had the biggest one, which is fear. But that's the one that causes the most damage, is fear. And we've got to change that. And we've got to change that. So that's why I set up the protest or the rally, because it's not a protest. We're not marching through Clonmel. We were just going to meet at the site with the locals that are there. It's not a march. We wanted to show solidarity with the people of Clonmel. And if the people of Clonmel then wanted to say a few words to inspire the rest of their people of Clonmel, and then for people like us, like I've done here today, to tell you the stories of what's happening around the country. Maybe if people know what's happening around the rest of the country, because remember, you know, social media is a bit of a bubble. Not everybody in the Irish population is on social media. So that was the reason why I was saying we'll go to Clonmel, and then there's other communities out there, you know, that we could help out as well. And that was the whole intention here. But anyway, I'll just play this, get it done and over with, and then I'll move on to the Drogheda and the Dundalk news, because it's really getting very I mean, look, I've seen this in Dublin, right? So it's not new to me. But to see it now spread all over the country now, I mean, if that doesn't wake Irish people up, and this is what's frustrating to me, is that there's a few of us in Clonmel that have and are woken up and are on the ball. And as I said, there's 17,000 people in Clonmel. So, and that's, yeah, Lady Avera is right. When this UN Migrant Pact comes in now next week, which more than likely it will, but as I said, Tracy Mahoney put up a great video for the Irish Council of Human Rights. There's also links there as well, important links in the link description of that video. So go and watch it. It is worth watching. Please watch it and share it everywhere, because there's email details and all of that. Yeah, email your senators and your TDs. Listen, as Lady Avera said, if this goes through, guys, well, then the floodgates are well and truly open. And then, listen, Clonmel might have a plan for a certain amount to go there right now, but to be under no illusion that that site will probably double and triple over the next couple of months. And that's what we're facing, and that's what we're dealing with. But anyway, here is this video. As I said, I didn't put the woman's face up. She decided to do her TikTok and put her face up. I'm not, as I said, I'm not about that. I don't want her to get grief either, to be quite honest with you. I was just a bit puzzled by it, to be quite honest. I didn't know I needed permission, and that's not being smart. As I said, I did this off my own back because I didn't want nationalists to call a rally when it was too late. And then more than likely the rally wouldn't have been held in Dublin anyway. It would have been held, it wouldn't have been held in Clonmel. It probably would have been held in Dublin anyway. So anyway, here it is. I will remove myself first and then play this video for you.
I'm taking a day off today, but there's somebody on TikTok, Noel something or other, who's decided to call a fucking protest in Clonmel for the 30th of June. He has it out on Twitter. We respect and we want all the help that we can get, and we appreciate all the support. But you know what comes first? Respect. Respect for the people of that town. This individual, whoever he is, who's put it out on Twitter, has not once got in touch with any of us in the group. Any of us who have been doing this since day one, who managed to get rid of loads of companies and close down the site for a few weeks and now have to deal with this. Respect. Actions like that don't show good character. It shows somebody trying to monopolise on perhaps the fame of Clonmel. Get in touch with us. He's also on TikTok, and this is what he is. And if you see, he puts it up on on his own post. This to me just shows a very, very big lack of respect coming from this individual, because he never once reached out to the people of Clonmel to communicate with us, because respect and communication are necessary. I mean, who the fuck are you, dude? Thinking you can call a protest in our town without ever speaking to us? That's invader shit.
No, you are being invaded. It's not invader shit. Also, as well, as I said, to question my character when I've been at this almost from the very beginning in Dublin, where it started, is actually kind of crazy. As I said, I've never set up one of these rallies before, and I didn't know that I actually needed permission off anybody to hold a rally and support locals. But be under no illusion, I'm an Irishman, and quite frankly, to be blunt about it, I can walk anywhere on this land. I am not an invader of this land. I was born and bred on this land. And you talk about respect, and the first thing you did was insinuate that I used Clonmel fame, and it didn't show good character. Well, I haven't seen you at any of the Dublin protests that I was at. I mean, as I said, we can measure dicks here, but it's not about measuring dicks. It's about getting together and showing solidarity with the people of Clonmel. So, the bottom line is this, I have received a lot of messages of support on this. There's a lot of people from all over the country willing to turn up on the 30th for this solidarity gathering, if that's what you want to call it. Maybe rally was the wrong word to use, but there wasn't a march through Clonmel or anything like that. It was just to meet on the site. That's it. Show solidarity. So, as I said, I've never organized one of these things. I didn't know there was a hierarchy, but there shouldn't be a hierarchy, because the bottom line is we're all in this fight together anyway. And this is what will ultimately destroy us anyway, is ego, and I've been saying this for months and months and months now. Even last year, I've been saying it on X about ego in this nationalist movement. It's time to put that all aside. I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade here. I'm just here to show support. That's it. That's it. Not trying to argue with anybody, not trying to fight. That's not what I do. It's not my way of doing things, right? I saw what happened down in Clonmel. I heard a plea from people to get their asses down to Clonmel. Now that someone has decided to actually get up off their arse, i.e. me, and actually ask people to get up off their arses, now I'm told that's invader shit and insinuating insinuating that I'm using Clonmel fame. I mean, that in itself is a bit presumptuous because, you know, there's other, as I said, you know, as soon as another site other than Clonmel activity starts happening with it, what you'll normally find on social media is everybody will focus on that and Clonmel will be forgotten about. And I don't want people to forget about Clonmel. Clonmel is just important as Newtown, Mount Kennedy, and all of those other places all across the country. I'm not comparing myself to Michael Collins. The point that I'm trying to make is that Michael Collins didn't need permission to go around in his own country to support locals or to hold rallies. So don't ever think that I'm comparing myself to that great man, because that great man was the greatest Irish man that ever lived. And as far as I'm concerned, no man will ever, in my opinion, achieve what that man achieved or will have the greatness of that man. So no, I'm not comparing myself to Michael Collins. That would be disrespectful. Right? I'm making the point that Michael Collins and others didn't need permission to go around the county and support people of their country. We're all fighting the same fight here. Right? So, you know, all you're doing is making people angry. Why not encourage people to protest outside TD's gaffes? That's a start. Yeah, because, right, yeah, let's do that. Let's protest outside the TD's gaffes and get the whole country to turn against us. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, absolutely. Let's fuck every bit of momentum that we made by protesting outside TD's houses. Yeah, let's do that. Because that's going to get us somewhere, isn't it? It's going to get us fuck all, right? Except hate, right? So no, any people that advocate for that, you know, I don't agree with that, right? Are some people going to do it? Yeah, right? But that's their choice. That wouldn't be my choice, right? The communities is where it's happening, not outside the TD's houses. What do you think? You think by standing outside our house and intimidating them and shouting slogans that they're going to change their mind? These people work for the global elites, right? The WEF, the WHO, and all of those organizations, right? They're not listening. They're not going to listen, right? And if anything, since Simon Harris has got in, right, the activity has increased, right? Nobody's listening. Enoch Burke's parents, right, approached Micheál Martin last night again, and the coward ran in back into where he was, surrounded by Gardaí and his minders, right? They don't care, right? You could try talk to them, right? They look down on you. Look at the Helen McEntee video that I threw up, right? Where the brave Irishman went and approached her and he asked her about the migration and she looked down on him. She wouldn't even make eye contact and she laughed and then she pretended that she was on her phone. And then two goons that worked for her then, right, got your man to walk away. And as he was trying to film, they were trying to block him and everything they were. So the bottom line is this, right? That's not going to work, right? What has to happen is the communities that need our help, that's where we need to be going and focusing their attention and supporting them peacefully, right? There's going to be a general election soon anyway. You know, I predicted November, but it's happening this year. It's happening this year. And see, this is what I mean. Isn't it time for war? Right? Tell me something. Isn't it time for war, gut person? How do you intend to start this this war? I just want to ask, like, because you know, I'm friends with with a former Defence Forces, Irish Defence Forces person, and he says if the Irish people were to do that, they'd be absolutely squashed within a day. So how do you propose that we fight, right? We go to war with these people when they're the ones they've got everything. They've got an army, right? And do you think that they're going to use their own people to attack us, by the way? We've already seen that this country has been invaded by English people that are helping, right? And you can't trust the Gardaí either, because are they really the Gardaí? Some people argue that are RUC in disguise, right? So how do you propose that we win this, right? We're just going to use our hands and fists and hurls like back in the day, because that's not going to work. They've got weapons. You think that you actually think that these people don't have weapons, right? They've also brought water cannons up from the north as well, brought them down here, right? We are not prepared for anything like that, and to even suggest it is naive, right? Go and look at other countries. Go and look at other countries, right? And to be quite honest with you, anybody inciting that level of violence, you know, has other intentions, in my opinion, right? I'm not saying there won't come a time, right? But that time is not now, right? It's as simple as that. And anybody thinks that we're prepared, yous are wrong. We're not prepared. We're not. We are underprepared. The Migration Pact comes in on Tuesday, they debate it, and then I think they have a vote on it, right? Tuesday is what we need to look to. Now, if they put that through, then I'm pretty sure that the nationalist movement are going to call some form of something. I'll predict it now. We are being replaced. We have to fight. We need to train and become ruthless. Yeah, and how long do you think that's going to take? Look, as I said, there's a lot of outside influences from the United States of America that are trying to get our youth to do something, right? If you go on YouTube, you go on Rumble, you see these Americans. Now, you've got to ask yourselves why Americans are interfering in our business here in Ireland, and why they're trying to incite the youth of this country to fight, because that's what they're doing, right? What's their purpose? What do they gain from this, right? As I said, there's external and inside forces working against this movement, and there just seems to be some that want to accelerate the path towards what's happened in their past. I just don't get it. So look, you know, as I said, if you look what happens around Europe and you look at places where the people have fought, they've been brutalized and it's been smashed up, we are way, 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 way underprepared. Way. They're probably Americans with Irish ancestry. Nope, because you aren't paying attention. Because if you actually look at Americans and other foreign nations are buying up a lot of Irish land. They're buying up a lot of Irish land. So no, they're actually buying up our land, and they have other intentions. So they cause civil unrest and get people to do something stupid. And then they, you know, you start, yeah. Oh. Seriously, man. Right? And by the way, just to prove and hammer home at me point, there's a big mosque being built, and they got a donation from someone in Saudi Arabia, right? They were looking for million and a half, 2 million or something. This donation was £1,000,000, right? To build this big, they're calling it Muslim Centre or whatever they're calling it, right? £1,000,000 they got. It's going to cost 1.5 to 2 million to build. People have said that the invasion has already begun and all of this. What you don't realise is the invasion has already happened. And it has already happened. If you look at the numbers that they've brought in, we are already screwed. I'm not saying there's not Irish Americans, but what I'm telling you is that there's Americans buying up Irish land. There's other foreign countries and millionaires from those countries buying up Irish land. And what will happen to Irish land, do you think? Well, they'll hold on to it for a while, and then the government or the NGOs will come with them with a great little deal. Here, listen, let us use your land for 1-2 years, and we'll give you a nice, fair, handy little paycheck there, brown envelope, right? That's what will happen. That's what will happen. So no, Irish Americans for me, and I'm going to say it now, right? Irish Americans for me can keep out of Irish affairs on this island. For the simple fact of the matter is that the Irish Americans that are over there are generational now, right? The people that went over there during the genocide and all of that other nonsense, right? They're way gone, right? So when you talk about Irish Americans, right, they're not Irish Americans. They're American with Irish ancestry, right? That's it, right? And they should be keeping out of our business, right? They should be keeping out of our business. I don't care if they have Irish ancestry or heritage, right? The bottom line is they don't know, they don't live here, they don't know the condition of this country, and yet some of them are buying up our land and then they'll sell it back to the government, or the government will contact them, like they did with a couple in Tipperary. The government contacted them for the use of the land and they refused, right? So no, anybody that's left this country, right, all of those years back, right, and I don't care if there's Irish American or wherever they are in the world, right, if they're generational, I don't care. They've no business of getting involved in their business. They don't know modern Ireland, and they don't know how bad this country has become. And when I see Americans buying up land in this country and other countries buying up land, right, that's what I question, right? And that's what everybody should be questioning, right? Why are they? Right? No, listen, the ones that left in the 80s and stuff like that, the ones that have left recently over the last few years because of failures of government are always more than welcome to come home when we fix this country. I'm not saying that, right? I'm saying the ones that left Ireland hundreds of years ago, but now that they have ancestry, they've been born in America, but they have Irish ancestry, have no business of getting involved in our state, in our affairs. It's as simple as that, right? It's as simple as that. No, we don't need Irish Americans to help us. This is the issue. There's too many fingers in the pie. There's too many people getting involved. right? There's also too many people with ideas that are saying, "Oh, let's just fight, let's go for it," right? Inciting others, as I said, especially so-called Americans, right, on their platforms, trying to rise up the youth and all to do something stupid, right? And what'll happen? They'll be sitting at home laughing on their computers while innocent Irish lads get hurt, right? And get hurt because they've been brainwashed into believing that they've got to do this, right? We're not at that point yet, and we're underprepared. And to be quite frankly, to be asking our youth to be doing that is absolutely disgusting. How dare you, right? Our youth have been through enough already in this country with the failures of government policy, right? They must be shown a bit of love, and their hatred and their anger must be channeled into positive action rather than negative action. And that is where I stand, right? There will come a time where we may have to all do what we have to do, right? But we're not prepared, right? And they will squash us tomorrow if we tried. Jesus Christ. Bit of common sense here. No, I'll take a chill pill. I'm not going to take a chill pill because this is a very important issue in our country, and I think people need to actually, get with the reality of the situation. This isn't the time to be chilling. This isn't the time to be chilling, because, we don't have any time. We've probably ran out of time. But you see, the thing about it is we're not going to give up. We're going to keep fighting because that's what we do. We're going to support the communities, like I said. We're going to try then get people prepared for the general election. Ask them if they register to vote. Even help them to register to vote, right? And then tell them that there is a better alternative to Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. Then after the general election, then we will assess the situation like we did after the local and European elections. And I'm pretty sure that the people that have been elected by the Irish people, the nationalists, they will show the leadership that they are supposed to be showing and then instruct the Irish people on what to do. Anyway, on to Drogheda. So, Drogheda, across from the D Hotel, I put the video. Well, I put a photograph up and I put the link to the video because I couldn't put the video up on YouTube. You're deluded if you think voting is going to get us out of this. Grow some balls and fight back. Well, I tell you what, you go on out into the street and fight then. Go ahead. See what happens. Seriously. If people believe that that's the way we should go now, well then don't talk about it, go and do it. See what happens. Because the nationalist movement will lose support overnight. It'll be done, dead and buried. That's the only thing you will achieve. That's the only thing you will achieve. So go ahead, knock yourselves out. Unravel all the hard work that's being done. Seriously. Right? As I said, and I've said it plenty of times, there will probably come a time where that will be the case. But if you think the time is now, well then go ahead. Do whatever you want. We'll see how it ends. And then the nationalist movement will be completely dead in the water, and then it's game over. Then it's game over. Then it's over. There'll be no recovering from that if someone takes that sort of action. So for all the Irish Americans that are trying to rally our youth, I tell you what, and all you British people as well that seem to be getting involved, right? I tell you what, yous all come over here then and yous fight the fight with them. But yous won't, because yous all sit behind yous computer screens and rally everybody else, but yous don't actually stand front and centre with the people. No, it's the truth. Listen, I'm blunt here. I'm not going to have people come to me and say that the Irish people should get out there and put themselves in harm's way because other people out there think that they should, right? But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of people out there that are saying that, right, on their videos and their live streams and all that from America and from UK and other places around the world. But are they here? Are they here? Will they stand shoulder to shoulder with the Irish people that they've incited to go and start something? No, they won't. They'll be on their computers, right? They'll be looking at it and then they'll use the content then to talk about it for weeks. Right? It's as simple as that. I've seen this play out in other countries. You need to be paying attention to what's happening in other countries because other countries are far way along than us. But we're worse off if you look at our population and what they're bringing into the country. Sweden is screwed. Yes, Sweden is screwed. And I didn't, and listen, people are saying I'm naive to think if the vote was going to change. It's nothing about, listen, I know voting these people out is going to be monumental task, monumental task, I should say. But the bottom line is that I do believe that when the general election comes around, there's going to be several TDs from the nationalist movement that are going to be elected. Now, if the nationalist movement do what we all hope they do, and come together under a banner, maybe under one banner, whatever, or they go as separate entities, but they agree to work together for the common goal of protecting and safeguarding the country, then we can make a big impact. The general election. But listen, forget about the general election. Tuesday or Wednesday. When is it? Tuesday? The migration pact thing will happen. If the government push that through, I'm pretty sure that you're going to see the country, right, maybe more than what has turned out, will probably get pissed off now. And it'll probably sway things. So, Tuesday. Let's see what happens Tuesday. Right, that's why I've put that video up from Tracy. Right, she's left details for you. Right, watch the video. Then, as I said in the link description, and then follow the instructions that she gave in the video. Read all the information that she's put there as well. Obviously, she's done some on screen. She's also put all the relevant details there. I've put them in the link description as well. So go and check them out. Right. So the incident in across from the D Hotel. So a migrant who's staying there looked like he was absolutely out of his face, and then proceeded then to actually drop his trousers and his his underwear and urinate all over the place. And then he started chasing cars while he was urinating. And there are more and more incidents like that happening all over the country. But again, you won't see that on RTE News. Also, there was an incident in Dundalk involving a group of lads, Irish lads and apparently migrant lads. The migrant lads apparently set upon the Irish lads, and there's video footage of that. Now, I can't throw that up on YouTube because YouTube is weird with the violence and all of that other stuff, but yet they allow, it's mad, they allow like funny comp videos of people being knocked out, but if you actually put one up, you're inciting violence and all of that other rubbish and glorifying it. But yeah, a fight broke out there. If there's any more details on that, obviously, we'll let you know, and we'll let you know if there's any more details on the Drogheda incident as well. Also, I'll put up a video of Eric English, and I know Eric very well. We've been also doing spaces together as well, and we've met up at a lot of protests. We've been outside that ESB building as well, Dublin Port. As I said, the majority of the Dublin protests, Newtown, Mount Kennedy, and so on. But he put up a video, and what you call it, he was schooling all of these, these weirdos that protest on the left, because they were causing a public disturbance. But of course, the Gardays, have seen the videos yourselves if you've watched it on the channel. But I found that rather amusing, that, and this is what needs to happen. You need to be, playing these people at their own game. These lefties think they know the law and all of this. So, when that incident happened, the guard, Eric just made the point, listen, they're the ones that are causing the public disturbance, not me, and, do something about it. Noel admitted it's rigged, but still leads people down the guard. Listen, the bottom line is keep voting and we'll be destroyed, for feck's sake. Well, I tell you what, as I said, any of you guys that want to go down that route, go ahead. Seriously, go ahead. I know exactly what's going to happen. Right? So go ahead. Right? Don't be coming and attacking me for my beliefs. I'm not attacking yous, but if that's what you want to do, if that's the course of action you believe is the right course of action, well, I say those that are speaking up about it should be the ones at the front of the battle lines, then, if that's the case. So, if you're going to say words like that, then back them up. Back them up. Because even Justin Barrett from the National Party was talking about this exact thing, right? And the bottom line is that he even said it, right? There's no way we're prepared for anything like that. So, at the end of the day, as I said, yous do whatever yous believe is the right course of action. I will do whatever I believe is the right course of action, and other nationalists as well. Right? Yeah, I said people will get arrested if the Gardaí started intimidating people. And it would look bad for the Gardaí if people were arrested in Clonmel if they were peacefully protesting. I don't get what the confusion is there. Listen, yous are all attacking me because yous want to. I tell you what, as I said, if yous want to all go gun ho, right? All of you accounts out there that are calling for this, well then go ahead. Seriously, go ahead. Yous do what yous think is the best thing to do, right? But I'm just going to tell yous now. The bottom line is this. If you take that sort of action, you actually destroy any gains that the national movement have made. And I'm pretty sure Maliki and co, right, the people that were voted in would disagree with the course of action that some of you want to take. Right? And as I said, nobody is ruling that out. But to actually say we should do it now when we are not even prepared even for that, we haven't even prepared for that, is absolute lunacy. But as I said, if some of you out there think you are ready, right, to play Braveheart and to take on the Irish establishment and everybody that's behind them, go ahead and play Braveheart. We'll see how it ends. Right? I'd rather play Braveheart when we're actually ready to play Braveheart. So there is only one outcome. Right? Because when I decide that that's the only course of action, I want to make sure that we're prepared, because I'm not prepared to lose. So do what you want. Do what you want. But I'm pretty sure that the people that she's elected and voted in for wouldn't be calling for this action. As I said, look, you can give out to me and have a go at me and whatever, right? And you can question whatever, right? I've been a straight shooter on here. I've nothing to hide, right? Bottom line is, if you believe that that's the right course of action, I say knock yourself out, go ahead. I wish you the best of luck. And if you succeed, I will say, right, I was wrong. But I'm telling you now, from what I've seen in other countries, and I've seen what they've tried to do in those countries, we're not even prepared for that. I mean, it'll be over within 2 or 3, not even in 2 or 3 days. It'll be over that day. So if you want to play Braveheart, go ahead. As I said, I'd rather play Braveheart when we're actually prepared and when there's no other choice. Right? Frankie, I'm not trying to get elected. What are you talking about? So to even throw that at me is a bit stupid. I'm not running for that. As I said, there's no personal gain here. You're also saying that I'm weak. Well, I tell you what, Superman, you go out there now. Go on, take them all on. Go ahead. Seriously, go ahead. Do you know what? All you guys in there that are throwing that stuff at me, I tell you what, right? Because you obviously think you are prepared. It's what? It's 7:15 now. Go on out there now and start your revolution. Come on. Go ahead. Oh no. That's not how it works. Yous are all in here now, inciting everybody in the chat to go and do something silly. So stand by is our thing now, right? No time. Right? No time. Remember, you said we have no time. So go and play Braveheart. Go ahead. Well, I think it's pretty clear in the chat that people are inciting people to fight. Yeah, I mean that's what I've seen in the chat. I mean, you know, you all are saying voting is feck all of this and this, that, and the other, and we need to get out and fight. That's inciting violence. So go ahead. You are all prepared, or you aren't prepared, or whatever. But go ahead and play Braveheart. We see what happens. There's a time and a place to play Braveheart, as I said. Right? And when we do it, it has to be because we know we're going to win. Right? 1984 Punk says, Noel is courageous and a man of truth. Thank you very much. At least I know I have some support. You know, the bottom line is I'm trying to you know, we have to be very smart about all of this. You know, we can't rush into anything, because if we make one wrong move, that's it. As I said, we're done. And and I actually believe, as I said, there are internal and external forces working against this movement, and I believe that some of them are in this chat tonight. Right? It's exactly what I talked about earlier on at the very start of this stream. Right? We have external and internal forces working against us. They want to incite the youth. They want to incite the people. And if the people do and actually, you know, fall for it, a lot of Irish people are going to get hurt. And it seems to be that's what they want, because they think that the Irish people somehow, if they see this, they're going to wake up, but they've already seen it. They've already seen it. They've seen Newtown, Mount Kennedy. The RT did show the footage, but they framed it that was the far right, but they have seen it. Right? They saw 3 kids get stabbed in Pearse Street and a creche worker. They all heard about Ashling Murphy, the 2 guys in Sligo. So if you think that after all of that, that you go and do something like that, that the country is going to wake up behind you, you have another thing coming. But we can change that. We can get into communities, right? We can talk to them. We can help them to register to vote. We can tell them that there is a better alternative to Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, right? And I'll give you a prime example where that type of tactic worked, right? Now, I will say the way they went about it turned out to be illegal, right? But there are things that we can use from that aren't illegal by using social media the way they did. So during Brexit, right, how they won Brexit, how they were able to get that vote over the line, everybody said that they were never going to win that side, right? They were never going to win. How did they win? Well, I'll tell you how they won. They won by getting at first-time voters, but they also got the people on board that never voted in their life, and people that just didn't bother to vote, right? And they ran campaigns on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. The problem is that they were using technology to put all of these videos, and that's wrong. But if individuals out there in the national movement start doing little educational videos on how people vote, right, how people register and stuff like that, and then, as I said, people then go all over the country then, as I said, like myself and others, and we encourage people to register to vote. You know, we have a conversation with them and stuff like that. And I know that there's some people out there that are saying it's too late, you're delusional, don't trust the system. Well, do you know what? Whatever. Do you know what? Do what you want. You do what you want. I've seen this play out in other countries. So if you want to fall for the same shit that other people have fallen for in other countries and failed, then you go ahead and do that and be like all the other sheep out there that have failed before you. Right? Okay? So if you have to defeat his attitude that it's too late, or there's no point anyway, so then I'll ask all you people that are saying it's too late and all of this. Well, then what would the point be of fighting then if it's too late? What would you be fighting for if it's too late? See, use a logic, it doesn't even make any sense, right? It's never too late. It's never too late. And if you have that defeatist attitude, we're never going to get anywhere, right? So this is what seems to be happening here. We have a defeatist attitude, and then we have some in the chat saying we should all go to war. Let's go. I don't care what you think, Mr. B. I don't care what anybody else in the chat. You just want to have a go at me, you can have a go at me. I don't care. I've had this before. A big ego, yeah, I do, yeah, I do, yeah. I have a big ego, yeah. It's that big, I can't fit it through the door. I'm the least person that has an ego here, right? All of you guys are just saying, "Come on, we'll fight," right? And you haven't got one clue or a plan. Tell me what your plan is. I asked you what your plan is. So come on, how do you plan on taking it to the government? What is your plan? Tell you what, one of you come up with a plan, right? A viable plan. Bring it to me and I'll listen. Until then, I'm not going to listen, right? I'm not going to listen. Because half of you that are talking here about fighting back, I guarantee is not one of you will get up off your arse and actually get out there and fight. But you will cite others to do a fight, right? You will cite others to get hurt on your behalf. But yet you will be sitting at home in these cozy little houses. Whereas if I say that, right, and I say we've reached the point where we need to do that, I'll be the first face that people will see. Because if I'm going to get people to do that and ask people to put their lives at risk, then I'm going to be there front and fucking center with them. As I said, do what you want. Anyway, let's see. So we've done Drogheda, we've done our Clonmel there, and we've covered the Tracy video as well for the migration pact, which if you haven't watched, as I said, go and give it a go. Frankie taking pop shots from America, how brave. Exactly. Some of these people, yeah, unfollow me. I don't care. Do you think that bothers me? Unfollow me. I don't listen. I'm not here for a popularity contest, you fucking muppet. Right? So unfollow me. Go ahead. You can all unfollow me if you don't like what I have to say. If you want to put Irish people directly in harm's way, well, I'm going to say fuck you, right? Because what it sounds like to me is none of you have put yourselves in harm's way. All right? So to ask others to put themselves in harm's way is wrong. How fucking dare you, is like. So I don't care. This is not a popularity contest. I'm not here for the clicks and the fucking views and for people, oh, look, there's Knowles. I don't give a shit. The biggest enemy of the Irish are always the Irish. Yeah, the Irish that are actually trying to conspire and try to get our people to do something and they're not even prepared for. Yeah, I think those people are despicable. I really do agree. They are, yeah. You're absolutely right. And as I said, there's internal forces, which I'm saying Irish people are trying to derail all of this. So yeah, you're absolutely right. The enemy of the Irish people has always been the Irish people. That's why I said at the very start of this stream that revolutions before we succeeded failed because of informers and rats, right? And people that wanted to derail the progress that we've made, right? So the bottom line is this: if you believe that what you have all been preaching is the way forward, then go ahead, right? I'm going to do it my way, and then when the nationalist movement decide then that that's the only way, well then I will join the people that have been on this journey from the very beginning, and when they make that decision, I'll be joining them, because that's who I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on the people that were elected the leaders to direct the rest of us. So if individual people out there want to do their own thing, well then I would say think carefully before you do that, because You know, the nationalists are after getting in, they're after getting your vote, right? Okay, and you'll undermine everything that they've done and other people have done to get them there, right? And there's been a lot of people that have worked hard to get Maliki there, Gavin Pepper there, right, and all the other candidates there, and you'll be letting those people down. Anyway, guys, what else was I going to cover here? I just have to look real quickly there before we wrap up. But look at, you know, I know there's a lot of emotion out there. I don't take this shit personal, and I won't. Do you know what I mean? As I said, if you want to unfollow me, anybody there doesn't like what I have to say, if you want to unfollow me, you're more than welcome to do so. As I said, it's not going to, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, to be quite honest with you. Also, yeah, just my thoughts on the snap election. There are rumours, very heavily rumoured, that there may be a snap election, and that the politicians may not go on their summer halls. Apparently, some candidates have already been seen canvassing from the Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil party. Now, whether there's any truth in that, we will find out. But if they call a snap election, I actually think they're calling a snap election. If they do, it's out of fear. And any election this side of this year, any side of this year, is out of fear. So I would just say to people, look, I will just leave on this with no hard feelings, and I'll say this, right? Right, before anybody decides what action they're going to take, right, just think about it seriously before you do it, right? And I want you to weigh up all the consequences as well, right? Because there's always consequences to these things. All I just want is for Irish people to be smart about this. That's it, right? And I have not said once here that I don't believe what some have suggested in the chat won't happen, right? But what I'm saying is, right now is not the time, right? Right now is not the time. And I'm pretty sure those nationalists out there that have gotten elected would agree, right? And I know some of them, right? And I know the hard work that they put in. Yes, it is, James, to answer your question. Absolutely. Do you know what, Irish Detox? This is what I mean. You know, we can come up with many ways of actually hindering the powers that be. We've already shown that we can. You know, we need to be open to all ideas. And as I said, I am open to what people have said in the chat. But as I said, we're not prepared. And I don't think we should be jumping the gun. Because, listen, I've seen firsthand Irish people being smacked with a baton in front of my face. Right? I have never, ever in my lifetime saw the level of violence that I've seen from our Gardaí and the Public Order Unit. And I just want to remind you, the national protest that we had, it was the one before the big, huge one. And we still had good numbers at that. There was a few thousand there, and we were there. And I remember it ended, and I was walking with another Irish nationalist to the bus stop because he had his daughter there. And then I went on to get my bus. And then we heard then, obviously, when we got home, then we had heard that the Public Order Unit and the Gardaí had blocked a few of the the mothers and fathers that had attended the protest off and start ripping the flags and stuff off them. Right? So this is what I'm saying. If you don't do not believe, look at these people, right, are literally right now using tactics that the Gestapo used, right? So before we start bravehearting it, as I said, you know, we've got to be prepared, right? So for anybody that's having a go at me, calling me a coward and weak and stuff, I've been, as I said, on the front lines from almost the beginning. So I find that actually quite laughable, to be quite honest with you, because I'm pretty sure that some of you are mounting off in the chat. I've never seen you at a protest. So, you know, the bottom line is this: when certain action needs to be taken, it will be taken at the right time. It's as simple as that. And anybody that's trying to accelerate that for their own whatever purposes or whatever is miscalculated, because a lot of people will get hurt that way. So when, as I said, if that comes to a time that happens, well, then we have to be prepared and, you know, go in with the belief that, listen, the bottom line is, if I do that, I'm doing it to win. I've never seen you at a protest. I've been at plenty of protests, mate. Were you down in Newtown, Mount Kennedy? You've never seen me at a protest? That's funny. It's funny. Listen, you won't see many videos of me because I'm not about getting videos. But I've actually live streamed from some of these protests. So if you want to go through my actual X account there and scroll down, right, you will see. No One's Flower. I was in Newtown, Mount Kennedy, and fair play. You know, there's other nationalists there, as I said. You know, Fergus Power, Eric English, myself. I came down on the bus with people from Dublin, and we supported the people of Newtown, Mount Kennedy. No Wi-Fi outside. Yeah, what are you talking about Wi-Fi for? See, again, you went down because you wanted to get footage. See, when I go down to support people. That's the difference between me and you. Right? There's other people there that get footage. No One's Flower. Listen, it doesn't matter what Newtown Mount Kennedy protest you went to. You went to one. Right? You showed your face. Okay? So you don't have to explain yourself to me, love. So there you go. So look, as I said, you know, we'll be back during the week because there'll be plenty of news. Obviously, we will come back on Tuesday because we do have that migration pact. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see if there's anything being called for that day. We don't know yet. I haven't seen anything. So if anything does, I'll come on and let you know. So yeah, that's where I will leave it for now. Don't see you. Well, maybe Lady of Era, you should go back and watch these streams, because I've called out plenty of people that haven't turned up. I asked where the other nationalists were in Newtown, Mount Kennedy. As I said, I've mentioned the ones that were there: Fergus, Power, Eric English, even Justin Barrett and his wife Rebecca Barrett were there as well. So they showed their faces. And yes, you're right, other nationalists didn't show their faces, but Philip Dwyer, if I'm correct in saying, was actually doing a report and was somewhere else actually in the country. And I've praised Philip on here because Philip has been on the ground since day one. I don't always agree with everything that he aligns with, but he is out there just like Gavin Pepper, the same thing, right? They're on the ground. They mightn't be able to get to these places all the time, but I do agree it would make a difference if they were there, but they're making a difference somewhere else. Okay, so again, you're trying to look for me to criticize people that I know have done hard work, and as I said, I don't agree with them all, but Philip Dwyer has been all over this country and has done reports from everywhere. So why would I criticise him for not turning up at Newtown Mount Kennedy when he was somewhere else reporting on another site? I'm not attacking my own people, right? This all started off because someone decided to have a go at me in Clonmel, right? And then people start coming into this chat then and inciting violence, right? That's how it started. I'm not attacking anybody. Right, the bottom line is, I said there's a time and a place to be doing that if we have to go down that route, but we're ill prepared, and anybody that actually calling for that or trying to rally our youth to do something like that is wrong. Because what will end up happening is those people will get hurt, they'll get injured, or even worse. And there's been enough Irish blood spilled, not even during their past history, even now, right, with the things that have happened to our Irish people at the hands of migrants with the crime, right? We've seen it. So it'd be ill-judged to be asking anybody out there to do Braveheart when nobody's prepared, right? And as I said, I'll make it clear, may come a point that we have to do that. But when we do that, I want to make sure when we do it, we win. Because if we lose, then you know what happens. If we lose, it's game over. There's no recovery. And by the time we do then try again, it'll be too late. And right, so look, do what you want. As I said, you know what I mean? If you want to go, as I said, some of you have an idea of what you want to do, go ahead. Right? I'm going to do what I'm doing. And if people want to support me, you can support me. And listen, if you want to rally behind the people there, that have accused me of being this, that, and the other and stuff, and have a plan apparently to do this, go ahead, support them. As I said, it makes no difference to me. The bottom line is I've seen this play out in other countries, and if you really think that you are going to win, then he aren't, because he aren't prepared, right? And he will be smashed within a day, and it'll be tragic because it'll be unnecessary that our people get hurt. And if you think that, as I said, that the people are going to turn around and say, oh, look, poor Irish people, right? They've seen atrocities happen in this country already, and most of them have had their head buried in the sand. And it doesn't help that RTE and the media is not actually telling them the full truth anyway, and skews the narrative, so they're not getting to see everything. Anyway, I'm off because, I've got things to do. So, yeah, listen, thanks for tuning in. If, of course, if you've liked what I've said, you know where that like button is. If you haven't, it's your prerogative to also hit the dislike button. I honestly don't care either way. If you have had a problem with anything I've said and you feel that strongly, then, as I said, some of you have said that you're going to unsub. Go ahead, unsub. The bottom line is I'm not here for a popularity contest, so I don't really give a shit about the subscribers. I know others do, but I don't. So, either way, but if you have liked what I've had to say, you think I am talking some common sense. As I said, I haven't ruled out the other possibility. It's just these people want to do Braveheart now and will be absolutely squashed. And, that just shows the stupidity, in my opinion, of some people out there, because it's not as simple as just going to war with your government and going to war with these people, Because if you think they haven't prepared for that, and if you haven't watched my video on the public order unit training, like a lot of nationalists have thrown out, they're prepared anyway, because they do believe that it's going to happen, because they're going to incite it anyway. You know what I mean? So eventually we probably will have to, but as I said, I'd rather us be prepared. But some of you already think that you could do it anyway. You must have took his cans of spinach this morning or something, and you feel like Popeye. So go ahead, do whatever you want, right? The bottom line is that you are going to get a lot of Irish people hurt, and what will end up happening is people will turn on yous. And we need everybody in this fight together. And we shouldn't be listening to people from other countries, right, that are claiming to be Irish and are talking this bollocks in chats and spaces and stuff like that. It's none of their business. Anyway, we are not all like you now. Well, then do what you want. Do what you want. Do what you want. Go ahead. Do what you want. Right? Just do what you want. Do you know what? You're clueless, man. You're absolutely clueless. Right? They've tried it in other countries. Right? They've tried it in other countries. The evidence is there. So go ahead. Go ahead. Do you know what? There seems to be this thing that because we're Irish, right? And this is what the Irish Americans are these external forces. Oh, the fighting Irish, the brave Irish. Sure, us, we haven't fought in fucking decades. What are you talking about? Right? We haven't fought in decades. Right? We've been a mostly peaceful fucking people. Right? And all of a sudden you think that everybody is just gonna turn Irish warrior all of a sudden. That takes time. Fucking hell. Like, I wouldn't mind if Irish people were involved in conflicts over the years. I mean, proper ones where Irish people were fighting, then I'd say, do you know what? Yeah, why not give it a go? But the fact that we haven't, and we've been a peaceful fucking people, right? And, you know, everybody in the country, when they saw the riot, was absolutely disgusted, right? You think that you're going to win people over by... Yeah, okay. The only thing that will happen here is a lot of Irish people will get hurt, right? Or even worse, right? And I'm not prepared right now, and the Irish people are not prepared, right? So, you know, it's time to kind of get with the program and get grips with reality. Anyway, it's been a pleasure having you all here, even the ones that don't like me. Thank you for watching. We have 419 people watching, so I want to thank everybody. As I said, you know, I'll be back next week. There's an important week ahead. Also, as I said, there is a meeting in Clonmel on the 20th. A public meeting is being called. Kevin Sharkey and, as far as I'm aware, Matty McGrath is going to be there. So anybody that's available, because it's a public meeting, you know, I think, you know, at these public meetings, I think that's where we can make the most impact. Anyway, you know, we can let people know of Clonmel, what's actually happening around the country. Maybe it might actually inspire other people to get out with the people that are already there in Clonmel. And that is the point. Do you know what I mean? So, listen, Kieran, thank you. And everybody else in the chat, even you guys that absolutely despise me now. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week. Until then, the usual, I'll throw up videos and all of that other stuff and keep you informed on what's going on. And as I said, I will be live next week. Until then, like, look after yourselves, stay safe, and I'll talk to you for the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.